The Daily Riff, 365 Meditations on the Guitar, written and arranged by Jim Gaven. January, first position, January 1st. Practice is a word I don't use. I used to play. If you play guitar, you get better. Tommy Tedesco. Practice sounds too much like a job, too much like a chore, too much like work. I don't know about you, but that sounds like something I don't want the guitar to ever become. Playing it sounds much more inviting, much more fun, much more enjoyable. After all, that is what you're doing on the instrument anyway. You're playing the strings, not practicing them. The reframing of this simple act is so profound. January 2nd. Basis for people who can't play guitar. Eddie Van Halen. Although I believe Eddie to be kidding when he says this, there is always a little seriousness to every joke. In my humble opinion, bass is not for people who can't play guitar. It's for anyone who wants to explore a unique instrument and add their own flair to the music being written, performed, or recorded. I can say from personal experience that it is a different animal than the average acoustic or electric guitar. The strings are thicker, the frets are wider. You use your fingers most of the time on the instrument rather than using a pick. And since you are included in the main rhythm section of the band alongside the drummer, it is your responsibility to make and keep the band as tight as possible. Not so easy in the final analysis, right? January 3rd. A good player can make any guitar sound good. Michael Bloomfield. I wholeheartedly agree. The same can be said for any other creative-minded technician. A good mechanic can make any car work and sound good. A good plumber can get any pipe into good working order again. A good electrician can replace outlets, put in new circuit breakers, and make the lights go on in any situation. And a good player can make any guitar sound good. It all comes down to the right approach mixed with God-given talent and hard work dedicated to perfecting a craft. January 4th. If we replace guns with guitars, then the world will be a concert. Thomas Ian Nicholas. Wow, let that sentence really sink in for a minute. This is so true and profound. The world would not only be a concert by doing this, but in harmony, both literally and metaphorically. It would mean peace and love rather than war and hate. It would mean creating and appreciating beauty while promoting life rather than stifling it, tearing it down, or completely killing it, promoting death and destruction. If we could only do something so amazing and life-changing as replacing guns with guitars, imagine what else could be done to make the world a better place for generations to come. Just imagine the possibilities. January 5th. You couldn't like someone who liked the guitar. Stephen King. You're right, Stephen. I can't just like someone who likes the guitar. I love them. Biased as I may be because I am a guitarist, there is something cool, grounding, and honest about someone who not only likes the guitar but plays it as well. Now, you can look at this quote in another way, too, which is what Mr. King might have meant when he spoke these words. That way is that it was either an unwritten, unspoken rule to not like someone who likes the guitar. This could be due to where he is from, the environment he was in at a certain point in his life, or how he was raised. I'm not sure why this would be the case because most, if not all, cultures embrace music and the arts as a part of their culture. In some cultures, it is the forefront defining thing about them. January 6th. My only expenses are probably guitar strings and records. Chris Isaac. Nothing wrong with that at all. This just tells me that Chris lives and breathes music all day, every day. He must play his guitar often and very hard in order to be purchasing guitar strings on the regular. It has to be what he thinks about first thing in the morning when he wakes up throughout the day and before he goes to bed at night. Could this be the reason why he's made a great career for himself and seems to be an artist that is here to stay for the long run? Possibly. Seems pretty obvious to me. Too obvious to ignore. January 7th. Playing guitar is a never-finished journey. John Fogerty. Got that right, John. The same thing can be said about other things in life and just life in general. As human beings looking to become better versions of ourselves every day, we should and owe it to ourselves to continue learning. Even if it's just one thing new we learn each day, the idea is to never stop learning. Always be a student of whatever area you are interested in or passionate about, and always be a student of life. In doing so, it is an act of humility as well as acknowledging the fact that we don't know it all. We're not supposed to know everything at all times, and this is okay. This shouldn't kill our spirits, but rather inspire us into action. And as long as we are taking action, we are in forward motion towards a goal or a mission. All good things, in my opinion. January 8th. Shut up and play your guitar. Frank Zappa. Writing in a gentle, welcoming manner might not be Frank Zappa's strong suit, but he sure does say what most people are thinking in a direct, concise way. No beating around the bush here, simple and to the point. And what's so great about this quote is that he's spot on. There are a few people who I've met who want to hear a singer, artist, band's political views and personal opinions on matters, unless it's a positive, uplifting, or funny story at a live concert. What are people at a concert there to do? Enjoy the music of their favorite singer, artist, band in real time. They're not there to be preached to about some ideology. They're not there to hear the performers talk for 5 to 10 minutes in between each song about God knows what. Not only that, but just shut up and play the guitar. It speaks to the musicians as well. If a guitarist is talking through a musical selection, especially a solo, it takes them away from being fully present in the moment with the music and the melody. It can make them more prone to mess up since their attention is diverted from the actual task at hand, playing. Let us all remember this each and every day when it comes to the thing we are passionate about. More often than not, if we just shut up and do the thing we are called to do, good things happen, results occur, deadlines are hit, fun is to be had. January 9th. I want every girl in the world to pick up a guitar and start screaming. Courtney Love. I like the sentiment behind Courtney's statement here. It's all about empowering people. There is something about picking up a guitar and really going for it. It's freeing, it's therapeutic, it's powerful. For me, it's a positive, constructive outlet, creative outlet, an expression of one's inner feelings and emotions, if you will. So what are you waiting for? Go for it. January 10th. Guitars always start in the bedroom. Martine Murray. I'm not sure if Martine is being literal when saying always start in the bedroom. I'm sure some start in the garage as teens and young adults start their own bands. For me, it's more of a metaphor of starting in a safe, comfortable, humble place. This is where most passions, dreams, desires are born, and where the love and dedication to whatever is calling you to action starts. From there, the proverbial sky's the limit. January 11th. Besides being a guitar player, I'm a big fan of the guitar. I love that damn instrument. Steve Vai. This is the right way to think about it, Steve. Not only should we be what it is we are setting out to be, an example, a guitar player, we should also be a fan of it. I mean, what is the point of doing something over and over again, day in and day out, if we don't enjoy it? It doesn't make any sense. So the moral of the story is to do what we love and enjoy for as long as possible, appreciating every moment along the way. We never know when our time will come, and we owe it to ourselves to do so. January 12th. Guitars are kind of just, sexy, especially old, vintage ones. Andrew Bird. Yes, they are, Andrew. Yes, they are. And they are as equally pure as they are sexy. Interesting juxtaposition to be pure and sexy, right? Here's how. Guitars, especially acoustic ones, are made of something in nature, namely wood. So they are pure in that sense, since they are literally from the earth and handcrafted to our desire in their nascent form, pure. They are sexy in how they are polished, decorated, fashioned, and played. January 13th. I've always wanted to be the best guitarist in the world ever since I was 8 years old. Peter Frampton. Quite a lofty goal to have for oneself, and at such a young age. I love that Peter set his sights high when he was a child. It's a great thing to have something to work towards, to look forward to, and to hopefully one day achieve. This is what can move us into taking action and put us on the path of hard work, commitment, dedication, and perseverance. However, we ought not to become obsessed with the goal, missing out on all the joy and fun along the way. I've seen this happen before in my own life, where I get so engrossed with completing a task or finishing a project that I forget to enjoy the journey or the process. Plus, for the majority of people, will they become the absolute best of whatever it is they set out to achieve? Most likely not. And this is okay, as long as you take all the right steps and put in the necessary time and energy to throw your hat in the ring and compete at the highest level. You won't have to wonder, did I try my best? You'll know without a shadow of a doubt you did. Even if you missed the mark, let's say, you won't be disappointed because you gave it your all. And if you do end up becoming the best, that's just the icing on the cake. Don't forget to enjoy the journey to get there. January 14th. I never wanted to sing. I just wanted to play rhythm guitar, hide in the back, and just play. Kurt Cobain. How'd that work out for you, Mr. Cobain? Being so good at something like songwriting mixed with coming on the scene at the right place and time made it impossible for Kurt to just hide in the back and just play. But like he said, he never wanted the limelight. He just wanted to do his thing with good friends and bandmates, playing the garage-style grunge and rock that Nirvana did. Going into an endeavor such as songwriting and performing, one has to know in the back of her mind that there is a possibility of becoming wildly famous, having every movement under scrutiny and question, and this could very well have played into Kurt's demise. Let this be a cautionary tale to anyone who is looking to start a band or any other creative project. Be mindful and carefully calculated about doing something for the right reasons, doing your best to ignore what the critics have to say, focusing your energy entirely into creating the best product or material you can. The rest will fall into place. January 15th. Someone told me the smile on my face gets bigger when I play the guitar. Niall Horan. You gotta love it. To me, this is an obvious sign that you love what you do, whether it is a subconscious or conscious feeling deep inside your being. The outward physical expression of a smile shows everyone, including yourself, that you enjoy the act of doing something so much it is pouring out of you. It is like you are radiating goodness or truly letting the light from within shine for the world to see. If we could all be so lucky to find something like this in our lives. January 16th. When you play the 12-string guitar, you spend half your life tuning the instrument and the other half playing it out of tune. Pete Seeger. I feel you on this one, Pete. This happens to me on my regular 6-string guitar, especially in the winter and the summer. Extreme temperature changes from cold to hot and humid have a knack of throwing the strings out of tune with one another. The neck and fretboard contract and expand based upon the temperature change, and it can be quite frustrating to spend half your time tuning and half your time playing. I think we'd rather spend way more time playing than tuning, but in order for it to sound good, tuning is necessary. So imagine taking the regular 6-string guitar and doubling up on those strings. It would make the tuning process that much longer and that much more frustrating, but is a labor of love. Sometimes we have to do these kinds of things in order to create beauty. As the old saying goes, it'll be worth the wait, and it always is. January 17th. I love playing guitar. It's the one thing I've ever really been great at. Johnny Winter. Stick with what you're good at. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. What's the point of doing something if you don't enjoy it? All these statements or questions express the same general sentiment as Johnny does about his love of playing guitar. It's simple. If you love to do something, then do it. As long as it's not something illegal, immoral, unethical, and keeps you and everyone else around you happy, healthy, and safe, then go for it. Life is too short to not do the things we love with the people we care about all day, every day. You owe it to yourself to do so. January 18th. Every time you pick up your guitar to play as if it's the last time. Eric Clapton. This is a great way to live your life by not taking anything or anyone for granted. Live it to the fullest by soaking every last bit of joy, happiness, peace, and love into your being. There's nothing like living in the moment because the present is literally and metaphorically a gift. Let us not forget that it is important to be aware of the feeling, the fleeting temporary nature of life, and the people and things in it. So play on and play and live with your whole heart and soul, pouring everything you have into it. This way, if it goes away tomorrow, there will be no regrets or wondering what if. You'll know you left it all out in the field. January 19th. I wanted to connect my guitar to human emotions. B.B. King. Boy, did you ever do that, Mr. King. Seriously? You did that in spades for not just those around you at the time you were making your mark or coming up, but for all generations to come after. If you are able to take a piece of wood with strings on it and make people really feel something inside of their soul through the manipulation, creation, and playing of said wood and strings, then you are doing something magical, dare I say miraculous. This is what every musician strives to do. Make a long-lasting impact through their craft, inspiring themselves and, as a result, others. The song and haunting phrase, "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" by the Beatles, written by George Harrison, comes to mind here. Perfectly sums up BB's quote. January 20th. Mimi Fox is one of the most exciting temporary jazz guitarists I've ever heard. Paul Gilbert. Although I don't know who Mimi Fox or Paul Gilbert are, this is one of the biggest compliments you can give to someone. To say that someone is one of the most exciting guitarists you've ever heard, I mean, can it get any better than that? I don't think so. We should be all so lucky not to only do something you love, in this case play jazz guitar, but to be noticed or recognized, thought of in such a positive light. The latter is not the reason why you do something, but it is nice to be noticed. January 21st. My first love was the sound of the guitar, Boz Scaggs. You can't beat it. I love that Boz speaks about his first love being a musical instrument and not a girl. There is just something so pure about the idea of a piece of wood and strings having this kind of deep and resonating impact on someone's soul. That it would inspire a movie to call your first love is quite special. January 22nd. The guitar is like cuisine, and you can't expect people to eat the same thing all the time. Richard Lloyd. What a cool way to look at this wonderful stringed instrument. You do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And it's the definition of insanity. The same goes with playing an instrument like guitar and, in my opinion, how to live life. Think about it. If you go to the same pizza place every Friday and expect the pizza to be somehow different than it was the week before, be it flavor, thickness, etc., that is setting yourself up to be wildly disappointed. And frankly, it's unrealistic. Where the true zest and spice in life comes from is trying new and different things, like experiencing a new city or going out to a new restaurant. Otherwise, life would become like Groundhog Day, dull and boring, on rinse and repeat, with no excitement or something to look forward to. As human beings, it's important to go out on a limb, even out of our comfort zones, because this is how we grow, mature, and become better versions of ourselves. We shouldn't want to just stay stagnant. The same idea can be applied to guitar playing, and that playing country, for example, is nice, but if you play the same kinds of songs in the same kind of way all the time, you become predictable and a one-trick pony. To diversify, to challenge yourself by writing and playing songs in different genres, collaborating with like-minded as well as different songwriters and artists is where the fun and creativity lies. It surprises the listener and gives not only the listener but you something fresh and new to experience. January 23rd. I play guitar because it lets me dream out loud. Michael Hedges. I absolutely love this. It's so true about music in general. The fact that he showcases the guitar is just icing on the cake. Of course, I'm a little biased because the guitar is my first and main instrument, but I do agree with the dreaming out loud statement. It's taking a dream you may have and bringing it to life through the playing and manipulation of six strings. So simple yet so profound. January 24th. Who I am as a guitarist is defined by my failure to become Jimi Hendrix, John Mayer. This is such a high standard to set for oneself, so much so that it could almost stop you from even starting. A form of paralysis analysis. Comparing yourself to others in the same field could be inspiring, striving to become a better version of yourself by surpassing a goal or mark that someone else has set, while at the same time wildly demoralizing. It all depends on how you frame it in your mind. I would rather go with the former than the latter, as it is more hopeful and forward-looking. To focus on the latter would be like setting yourself up to fail and conceding before the battle even begins. What we all ought to be doing is worrying about ourselves and not what anyone else is doing. This way our focus is on bettering our way of doing things and not what so-and-so is up to. January 25th. Every guitar I own gets used and has its purpose. Mark Knopfler. I 100% resonate with this quote, as I'm the same exact way. Small backstory. I have 3 guitars at home and have been playing guitar for 20 years. All of them are used all the time. 1. Mexican Fender Stratocaster used for guitar lessons, virtual group sessions, and jamming with my son. 2. Martin Acoustic Electric is used for live performances and recording. 3. Yamaha Acoustic is used in-person guitar lessons, guitar group performances, and sometimes recording to add another texture to the mix. They all have their specific purpose and are used daily. To me, it's a very practical and minimal approach to owning an instrument like a guitar, and any instrument for that matter. An instrument is meant to be played, not meant to be collecting dust on the closet or on the wall as a decoration. I've always been of the mindset to use everything I have as often as possible. If not, then why have it? I would Much rather give something away to someone who will put good use to it than keep it for no good reason. January 26th. Guitar playing is just something that came to me and is really second nature now. Dave Navarro. How lucky it is to be naturally gifted, talented at a specific thing in a particular area. I've experienced this in my life with music, playing several musical instruments and just knowing what to do with them when picking them up for the first time, as well as with sports. For anything to become second nature, you have to put in the time and energy to hone your craft and develop any extra skills, since you already have the inherent skill to separate yourself from the pack. This is exactly what Dave has done, and anyone who has a professional has done as well. January 27th. When I'm having a bad day, I pick up my guitar. Michelle Branch. This is the best advice you can give someone when you're down in the dumps, not feeling it, or just plain old having a bad day. Do something positive and constructive that gives you joy. It's that simple. I've done this myself on numerous occasions with the guitar and any other instrument that comes to mind at the moment, and it helps bring me out of whatever funk I seem to be in. You owe it to yourself to do so. January 28th. I can't get anything out of an orchestra if I have the 10 best guitarists, but I don't have a pianist or a drummer. Manuel Pellegrini. This sounds a lot like having a team full of Michael Jordans, but no one willing to be a Scottie Pippen, John Paxson, Steve Kerr, or Bill Cartwright. This is one of the Chicago Bulls lineups during their NBA dynasty in the 90s. In short, if you have a bunch of all-stars at the top of their game, but no one interested in being a supporting player in the team's overall success, the team won't, in fact, succeed. You see, because a team full of Michael Jordans might not pass to one another or play great, tight defense, and truly work together as a unit to win. The Bulls and many other teams that dominate have a full team worth of really good players who play an overall great game, offense and defense with the right demeanor, playing to everyone's strengths and making the whole better. The same goes for an orchestra with 10 amazing guitarists, but no other musicians on other instruments to round out the sound to make it best full mix. January 29th. I started out playing guitar because Jimi Hendrix was my hero, so my roots were really based on Jimi Hendrix and his style of playing. Joe Satriani. I love that an amazing guitarist like Joe Satriani took inspiration from Jimi Hendrix and turned it into what he did as a career in music. And what's great about it is that he didn't become a carbon copy of Jimmy, but rather his own unique guitarist and musician. I feel like if Jimmy were born before Joe, he would have done the same thing. As a musician and human being, this is the best thing we could do with our creativity, gifts, time, and energy. Inspire others to want to be the best version of themselves. Let us keep this in mind as we go about our daily activities today. January 30th. When I have downtime, music is a big part of my life. Not so much singing, but I play the guitar. KJ Appa. Hopefully music and playing the guitar, for that matter, becomes more than just an activity you do when you have downtime. Trust me, if you can find a way to incorporate it into your daily routine, and even better, include it more into the core of your day, it will change your life. It has for me, and not just in how I view the world, but in how I operate in it. It's also helped me get out of whatever is festering in my head out onto paper and into something constructive and meaningful. An example, a song written on the guitar. So do yourself a favor and let music and the guitar infiltrate into as many aspects of your life as possible. You won't regret it. January 31st. I've always wanted to smash a guitar over someone's head. You just can't do that with a piano. Elton John. While you are right, Sir Ellen, I wonder why would you want to smash a guitar over someone's head to begin with? I get that it could be fun to smash a guitar, but does it have to be over someone's head? Can it be against the ground or an object you don't particularly care about and not another human being? Furthermore, I see this as almost a sacrilegious gesture towards a musical instrument. I have never thought about smashing another instrument, never mind a guitar, because the instrument is sacred. It's like magic. It's the first instrument I learned how to play, and it's given me so much joy, peace, love, and hope. It's provided me with so many great opportunities to travel, perform at many different kinds of venues, collaborate with several like-minded musicians. It is something I use and play every day to write, record, and perform songs for others to hear. My intention is used to create beauty and inspiration. You can't do that if you smash it. That's just pure destruction.